Okay.
Yeah, and some optimizations here and there.
Hmm.
Hiller is happy. It runs faster on the school laptops and works well.
Cool. And it's is this work finished now? Is this, or do you still?
Uh, it's finished so far. I haven't touched that in the
Mhm,
last couple of months. About 2 months
mhm.
ago, it was pushed, so I'm not working on that right now.
Okay.
Uh, I also added for the true type text that is also drawn by the vector engine. I added support for the 32 bit word arrays with
Hmm.
code points that we don't use, but that is what Squeak uses.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's because Elliot was eager to use this in Squeak, and he was sure he would convince the Squeak community to adopt it. So
Hmm.
almost all the code was there. It wasn't a big deal to also support that format. So if they want to use it, it will suit them too. But we don't use it in Quick. Just
Hmm.
there is a demo class method
Hmm.
somewhere to play, but
Hmm.
that's all. Yeah, that's it.
And
Well,
I saw that you started implementing form layouts.
yes, I did that. That is because there is a project going on that is not public yet, and is a good designer. The idea is to something like the very old Visual Basic and the good designers
Hmm.
in other tools. Um, and that's being done by Hernan Wilkinson and a team at his company Tempines, and it was commissioned by Labware and it's in development. It's also it's in a private repo of their own so far. It will be published at some moment,
Ah,
and
interesting. Yeah.
the row and columns layouts are comfortable for programmers. They require reasonably little code, but they are not so good for an interactive GUI designer that needs to create them. For that, the form layout is better. Uh,
Hmm.
the form layout is not very good for a programmer that will write the method to create the views because it's too verbose. It's not really
Yeah.
nice to write,
Um,
but it offers that functionality. Yeah.
yeah. So the form layout is based on the SWT framework. I
Yeah,
read in the comment.
they have something like that. Then, most recently, I realized that Squeak has something like that too. If you open a Squeak browser and inspect it,
Yes. Hmm.
there is essentially a form layout in there. So
Yeah.
it's I didn't know that, but it's equivalent to that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I ask because the SWT UI library is actually based on a Smalltalk UI library, SWT, from VA Smalltalk. And I used this
Okay.
form layout there. I use this form layout there quite heavily. So I have a UI framework which uses it everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what was interesting. But for in the SWT, and I guess also in the now common widgets, it's called in Smalltalk. In the common widgets framework, you also have the possibility to not only to specify a widget where you want to attach your other widget. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
attach a widget to another widget. I know that. Yeah, we
But
don't
that's
have that.
not. Yeah. Okay.
Do,
That
do you use that?
yeah, in the UI framework which I told about, which is from the 1990s, it's heavily used. Yeah. So you
Okay.
can do something like I have a widget and I attach it to the widget right above, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
quite
we
flexible.
didn't need that so far, but it can be added if someone needs it and wants to
Hmm.
work a little bit on that. Yeah, of course.
Okay, I just wanted to know what's the status is. I understand that. Thank you for the information. I was thrilled.
So you suggested, Hilaire, we talked about AI.
Uh, yeah, there is two topics. One is about documentation, and the other one is about AI. Yeah, don't know what you
I
want to
have
do.
to I have to say that philosophically, given the amount of carbon that AI is burning
Mm.
in this country, I'm anything that has AI in it, I turn off and don't use. And I've also been following a lot of stories, not just about the confabulation or so-called hallucinations, that the stuff that AI makes up. You know, you ask a parrot to design your code, and you get some interesting things. But the evidence is so far that AI has not been a major advance in a lot of areas because with complex code, it's found that about half, almost half the time, the AI writes almost correct code. And so the evidence so far is that as people are spending as much time debugging this quickly generated code uh, in some very bad environments than they save by having the code quickly generated. So I'm still in the skeptic camp. I think pattern recognition, most of what they call AI, we used to call machine learning, and that is great. But a
Yes.
lot of the generative stuff, I'm highly skeptical about. Uh, but anyway, things are going forward there. The good news is debugging in Smalltalk is much easier, and you could probably get an AI to start writing unit tests, which would make things much more interesting. In a knowledgeable environment, an AI could probably do much better in Smalltalk than it can in typical typical code that people are generating stuff using for Java and C and uh, Python and whatnot. Anyway,
Hiller,
that's my philosophical bent. I don't have any practical experience there because I don't use this stuff. So
what are your thoughts, Hiller, or expectatives with respect to that? I mean, you brought up the topic, so you are interested in that in some way. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, expectations,
So
or desires?
yeah. So my interest is related to what I want to do with the uh, dynamic book project, where the mostly the teacher or maybe the student, they will be able to plug on on a paper a dynamic content that will be generated by a Smalltalk script. Um, it is the idea is kind of get something more general than the Dr. script, where you describe a sketch with Smalltalk code. Um, so the idea is to have all the domain of interactive geometry for other field, for other topic that can be taught in the school. So the idea would be that for a teacher, for example, it would say, okay, I want, I want, I want a triangle. Then I want the circle inscribed into it.
So you
So the
imagine a teacher using an AI tool to generate content for their students.
yes,
That idea.
and the content that will be generated, it will be through Smalltalk code. It will be small script. It will not be very long script. And I did some tests, and in some situation, you can produce valid code for Dr. Geo. So the idea is to, uh, it can be a small step for the teacher because maybe they don't know Smalltalk. They want to produce that kind of sketch. Okay, they can do it with the mouse or something like that. But if they just say, okay, I want this simple geometric sketch, the AI will produce some Smalltalk code on this because this code will be short. My idea is that the teacher or maybe the student, they will be able to learn from this code, so they will improve their skills. So my idea is not the way it is used now. I mean, you get experts using AI to generate code that is not an expert code, so they have to debug, as you say. No, my idea is that you take people that don't know anything about writing code, and they will gradually they will be able to learn uh, to write it. They will learn how code is written, and maybe they will be able to write that kind of code by themselves after they were been using the AI to generate code.
And you mean that process without a teacher that already knows Smalltalk helping them?
Yeah, yeah.
And you think that code generation is reliable enough
No,
for
I don't
people
know.
to learn?
This I don't know. I think you need. I think you need a corpus. I guess you need some corpus of documentation about, or maybe just example of such scripts that the AI can learn from, and then to be able to generate some code. Yeah, you are all silent. I don't know if I was clear in any way.
I guess I got the idea. I I am with
Uh,
Ken here in these things, and I really don't know if that can be done reliable enough
yeah,
for
I don't
people to
know.
learn
I don't know
from it.
either. So the idea is that the AI will be a kind of like a tutor for the user, for the teacher, or for the student.
If you could teach the AI to also be a code critic, I think for short periods of bits of code, that's fine, that you're describing, because a short bit of code
Mhm.
you can look at and if it's done well, be fairly intuitive,
Yeah,
descriptive
yeah.
names and so
That's
forth,
exactly the idea.
to be seen to be correct. Once you get beyond that, as I say, the
Okay,
evidence is pretty mixed.
imagine okay, because the interest of that is that you can if you take the topic of geometry with the Dr. Geo script, it's very scientific oriented. But okay, let's say I develop a small model in a quiz to visualize, the timeline, historic timeline. Then you can insert, okay, Alexander the Great, minus 300 before the Christ, and you can do that by something that would be very easy to code. You can write an API for that quite easily, so that you can produce that kind of timeline with a Smalltalk code, quite compact Smalltalk code. So now you imagine you have this model, then you ask the AI, okay, build me a timeline for the event around this period. So the benefit is that you will combine both writing some codes, and then to retrieve some data, historic data. So it will be quite powerful tools, and because the results will be a Smalltalk code, then later the teacher can decide, oh, this event I don't want, I remove it, or I forgot about this event, I want to add it. So we'll see how it is done in the code. So we'll be able by himself to insert that in the code. And this is why I designed in Dr. Geo, this 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 GUI, where you have one side you have the code, then the other side you have the results. So you have immediate feedback between the code you're writing and the results you got. So this idea, I want to generalize this for many topic or subject taught in schools.
And do you imagine having an AI engine running in your machine
I don't know.
in the uses?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You-
Yeah,
Okay.
in the school district. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not.
Be- Because there are public services or public, not public services. There are free services
Yeah,
that you don't need to pay for.
yeah,
Free in that regard, that maybe can be used, but you need to be online and you are and you are letting them do that work for you, so
yeah.
you are
That's
not in control of it.
yeah. Regarding this idea, yeah, the idea is to be online anyway. But
Okay.
the server, okay, it can be one of the main server, but it can be a server that is run I mean, in a school district or something like that, if you don't want to depend on the big company.
There have been some people doing the experiments of integrating, I believe it was ChatGPT, into Squeak.
Yes, yeah, I know.
And they ask questions about their Smalltalk code to ChatGPT in their ChatGPT workspace in the Smalltalk image, and I don't know. They are having fun with that. I don't know much because I didn't pay close attention, but maybe that
Greg,
maybe
Okay.
that's a good place to start.
Well, I nobody asked me, but I do not consent to have any of my code written put in any of these models. I don't want that. Yeah, it's I consider this even using these models, the LLMs, unethical because they base on it's a stolen content. Yeah, and paying someone for using stolen content is in my point of view completely unethical. So I don't use these tools at all, and I don't want to be. I want to have any part of it. Yeah. If you do machine learning with your own data, that's okay. But not the LLMs, which were basically trained on this stolen data. I don't want that.
That's another super valid critic, Bernard. Uh, I I think I fully agree with what you say from a conceptual point of view, but there is a practical problem in your attitude that I see, and that's why I'm not sure if I would do the same. And it is that the MIT license, that is the license that we use for the work we produce and publish on the net,
Mhm.
doesn't forbid that. So it would
I
require
understand.
a different license, and
Okay.
that opens another can of worms. Okay, if you say, yeah, I want to control what can people do with my stuff and what cannot, then you have the GPL problems, LGPL, compatibility between licenses, and in 2 minutes, half of our users, I'm exaggerating, and I have no,
You're,
but
that's
then half of our users can say,
well,
oh,
actually,
this is not safe to use because these guys put too much restriction and they can come after us in 5 years. So it's better not to pay attention to them. That's
yeah,
what
I know.
I mean. You know that Faro, for instance, says MIT license with part under what was the other license? I don't remember, another open source license, and that was for some kind of
I don't know.
historical reason. And when I
Oh,
published Quiz, I said it's all MIT. That's it.
yeah. I agree, and I wasn't referring to some kind of legal argument. I was saying I do not consent in the sense that I know that I cannot, I don't have the right to force someone not to do it because what I wrote is under MIT and this was fine but I say I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want it. So I just want to state that. Yeah, and actually, to be honest, yeah, if this LLM stuff would have been around and the problems would have been around, I would think twice about using MIT for new stuff. I'm not arguing that we should change the licensing quiz, but this is clearly something which was not foreseen when licenses were chosen or license texts were written, and I think this is a huge hole, and the whole situation that the even authors who had their books scraped by the thousands, yeah, or hundreds, yeah, they have no they have difficulty prevailing in court, and this is yeah, it's right on, it's wrong on so many levels. I'm really annoyed. Yeah.
Let's try looking back in the other way, though. What you'd like is you like something as well sandboxed. I mean, there are open source AI programs out there that do at least the simple things, which is in the beginning, all you want to do. And what you'd like to be able to do is have control of something that basically is open source. It can be an AI, but it only runs on your hardware, and you start a new session every time or whatever, and try to constrain the problem, because AIs in general are easy to hack and they're unreliable. And, we have a lot of problems with AIs claiming to be a therapist, or claiming this or claiming that, or doing the click through, or saying, oh, gee, it's got a chat GPT. I'll go ahead and, contract with somebody to solve that for me. And then they ask me if I'm a robot, and I say, no, I'm sight impaired, and that kind of stuff, where, these interactions get pretty wacky. So I think if it could be constrained into, the shallow waters, the sandbox type of idea, then I think that'd be perfectly fine. And that would be sufficient computational intellective power to do the types of things that Hillier would be interested in. But somebody still has to investigate it and come up with a strategy for that. But
Yeah.
I think it's doable. It's just like anything else, it's time
Yes.
and energy.
Yeah, as I said, so it's perfectly fine to do machine learning and train the data with your own emails or something. That's perfectly fine. But even if you have some open source model and which runs on your local machine, which uses a pre-trained model which was based on hundreds of thousands of stolen books, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah,
Quite
I think
simple.
an interesting question is how far can you get in a domain problem like the one Hilaire is interested in, that is school subjects and small talk. So what happens if you train a local model that starts with no data at all, and it's an open source code that people have outdated, so you trust that it is reasonably safe to use, and you just train that with the Smalltalk image, and perhaps your school curricula, right?
Yeah, but
If you do something like that and control that, how far can that go? It will not be ChatGPT, but will it be good enough for your intended use? That's something that is interesting to. It would be really interesting to learn, to know, right?
I guess you need a pre-trained model, kind of general training. Then you start from that things, and that thing will grab from the internet all the data.
Yeah, you need a clean room.
Otherwise, it will not go nowhere. So you need to, and then you can train on your specific domain on top of that. But the pre-training is huge. I mean, and it's only possible with the data on internet. So that's the situation that Bernard is explaining. It would be data without checking about the license and the consents of the author.
Yeah,
So I think you have no choice
problem.
about that.
So I'm not an AI specialist, but I do read some scientific articles about the whole stuff. Not a lot, but still. And what I think what I understood is that these breakthroughs, which made this topic very, very, made this hype, was only possible because it was done with huge amounts of data,
Yes, of
and
course.
because I'm not sure if it's even possible to get good results if you just use your data. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. But still, Mhm.
But we don't want to solve the general problem. I mean,
No, no, sure.
if you have machine learning that can recognize patterns in code and do enough generative to generate, small to medium amounts of code uh, based on those patterns, I think that is a training set that you could go through, build a clean room, take in just the stuff you want to do. The great thing about Smalltalk is you maintain this connection between the running code and source that you can read. And you want to maintain those things at all times because you want to have your conceptual model be able to reason with things. And we're not solving a general AI problem. We're just saying, okay, how can you reason about code to produce these certain aspects that we artifacts that we like to compute, and you have to be able to read those artifacts and do that in a reasonable method. And so I think we're probably close to being able to do that, but again, somebody has to go in and look at the models, build a clean room, and try some of these things out. Interesting, interesting research project. I don't think I have enough life left in me to necessarily
Uh,
do it, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I think
I think it could be useful, but
this topics opens a lot of interesting questions. But as you say, Ken, perhaps the world is full of interesting questions, uh, and one needs to choose on what to focus. I'm not focusing on these kind of things. Um, for several reasons. The reasons that both of you, Ken and Bernard, mentioned are some of the big ones. Other ones is that I have serious doubts on the effects on the mind of people of using this in large doses, right? um, so I don't want to start a, this a polemic is that a word in English? A kind of angry argument about the effect of this on people. I just like to think things myself, so that's what I do.
I think part of the thing, this is a social problem. You say what engages people and what gets people brought in to start thinking about things. Okay. And anything that's used that way, I think is great. The problem we have, certainly in this country, is we have whole generations of folks now that are raised attention deficit. They
Yeah,
have these little attention consuming devices that they interact with, and they don't make complete sentences, much less complete paragraphs, much less paragraphs that relate to each other, because they're not taking the time offline to think things through. And that makes for a populace that is not educated, and when you rob resources from education generally, which unfortunately this country have had a habit of doing, uh, the you end up with voters that are just they're not thinking things through. They're not connecting dots, and so anything that gets people engaged in thinking and be able online is fine, but you have to be able to go online and offline. And if you can't do the offline and the slow, the fast linking is fine. I can react, but you got to do the slow thinking, just think things through and grind it through and be able to do that for yourself. So anything that if the AI can be used to engage people to think more and think more thoroughly to see what's going on, I think it's great. It's not how it's used today, but I think it's great. So I think it's a social problem as much as anything. Sorry, that's my bent on things.
so Hiller, I guess this meeting may be a bit disappointing for you because
oh no,
the other three people here are
no,
not
no,
super
not
excited.
not at all. Yeah,
Yep.
not at all.
I still think that the field is interesting to explore, and I think it's good that someone does it, even if I won't be doing that much myself. So, if I might suggest something, is to review what other small talk people are doing, not have done what they
Yeah.
are doing today, and perhaps try to network with them or with other people in our quiz community. I mean, anytime you get together with anyone that has anything to do with computers at all, half of the time is spent speaking about AI. So there will be people to share that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's okay.
And
I'm in the exploring phase. I want to explore the
yeah.
topics on with this idea because since I will tell you when I start when I was still an apprentice teacher, I start writing Dr. Geo with the idea at some point somewhere the user should write some code
Yes, of course.
because I have this idea that empowering the user. So that
Yeah,
was
of course.
always
Yeah,
my idea. So
yeah.
this
and
idea I have
and
now with AI is the same. The base is the same. It's really to empower the user. So as you say,
engagement
can
in shallow waters, shallow
yeah
ramp. Yeah.
yeah as you say can is yeah try to make something good of AI use. If it's
But
not
take in the
working, it's okay.
viewpoint that
Mm.
don't be dissuaded. I once worked for a guy, and whenever someone would bring up an idea, he would take a hammer and he said, "Well, how good is this?" And sometimes that was good because he was, you defend your idea and you end up with something that's robust. And sometimes he would take something that could be a great idea, but it's a baby, and you kill the baby before, because it was hammered on too quickly. It was hammered into shreds before it had a chance to be developed into something useful. And so take all of our input, but make sure don't be dissuaded from growing a baby to be a person.
My
Yeah.
my initial idea with dynamic book or the Debo project is to have kind of library of that kind of scripts for history, for math, for geometry, for geography, whatever. So of course, each of the scripts will use a specific model to build dynamic contents from the script. So my idea will be to provide a lot of script like that for the teacher. They can use from the beginning, and they can just, if they want the result to be a little different, they will just edit the small talk text, and they will get a different result that suit what they want to do. So even that my initial idea, and even in that way they can get used to read and to edit small talk code. So that's my initial idea. The other what is done now most of the time for the teacher, they will be able to have to adjust some parameter, and they will get some different results. There is some resource like that for education. You can adjust some value and things like that, then you get different results. But the people, they are never, the user, they are never exposed to the code. Like if uh, like it's something that is dirty. So my idea is really to get the user to be exposed to the code. So of course the script can be very long because okay the people, they will see, oh, it's too complicated for me. So it should be short, it should be understandable, and even it could be written in native language. This is something I have already explored with Dr. Geo, because you can write a code in French or in Spanish. You can. It's very easy to uh, with Smalltalk to have uh, to even to translate a Smalltalk message like if true, si vrai, and the loop while true, tant que vrai. You can even translate that kind of things. So you can even get the people to read Smalltalk code in their native language. So you can lower the barrier of entry to get in the programming world. That's the problem of our modern society. We have kids using a computer device they can put in the pocket, that's the smartphone, but they don't know. They are just plain user. They are not very powerful user. So for me, that's that's the core of my idea. So AI may be a mean or maybe not. I don't know. But the idea is not not to get the user uh, more stupid, but try to enhance his knowledge. So that this is this idea I want to explore. If it's not working, it's okay because I still have this idea to have a library of scripts the user they can use, edit, so learn from that. So that's perfect. And this will be our local resources, by the way.
Yeah, that bigger goal you say it has been around for a long time. It was also the origin of the forts at Xerox Park and the altos at the schools and later Itoys and Scratch, right? In the 90s when Squid got started, I'm not sure if it was Dan Ingalls, but I really think it was him who wanted the user to be able to move easily between toys and the Smalltalk code, and that to be a continuum and not a jump to a different universe. So I'm happy to see that you are working on that. Those problems are the long-term important things to work on.
And
Yeah.
you know, I observed something with the kids because I have been using Squeak with eToys and Scratch and Dr. Geo for coding, and with the graphic stuff, especially with eToys, the kids they have a lot of distraction.
Distraction.
Yeah, and it's very difficult for them to do the computing things. I really
Okay.
observed that they will do something else. Oh, I can click there, and then there's some noise, and they will do that. You know, and it's very difficult to get them focused. And when I start using Dr. Geo with the kids, so they really write Smalltalk code. Um, uh, I used uh, when I did that. I tried to remember when I was a kid. How did I learn code? I don't know your experience. Maybe this is the same. The first thing we did as kid, we just copy code,
Yeah.
even if we don't understand. So my teaching lesson is like that. You copy this code even if you don't understand.
Yeah,
Then you
you know
get
that the first time I got to sit to a computer and key in something,
yeah.
I got this manual. It was a friend's computer. I didn't have my own yet. So I tried to type in a program to play a melody, and I copied as best as I could, and it would not work, and it was frustrating. So I said, "Okay, I don't know what to do. This doesn't work." Blah blah blah. And then I borrowed the book and I learned a little basic. And the next time I went to this guy home and sat at his computer, I didn't read the book. I knew what I wanted to do and I understood enough to write the code. And this time it did work because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
my idea was is the same. You get the code to the learner. You have to write this code, then you would get this result, this visual result. So they type in the code, they execute. If they don't have error, they will see, is it the same? Oh no, there is an error. Where is it? So you have to look at the code, then you start learning. That's the first step. Then when they succeed on that, after they will get some result they need to get. So the sketch is a bit different. So they have to think, oh, where I need to change the code to do these results. So
yeah,
and I can tell you, this works very well. I use it with several classes, and I also suggest to all the teacher, okay, you can try this lesson. They are just ready. You can do that with the student. It works well for them too. So I think this means something. And when you ask the kid to write the code, there is one very important thing that is related to what you say, Ken. you ask them to have strong attention in one task, copying the code. So you improve the skill of concentration on doing one task without being distracted, because they know they can be distracted because they will not be able to copy the code. Even that the student that get easily distracted, it's helped them to get concentrated on the task, and they can do it. Maybe slower than older, but they can do it. So what was really interesting with that, the smart student, okay, it's easy for them, and even the student with some difficulties, they can do that. Even because and for them, there is something that is challenging. So okay, I think the student they can feel it's like a challenge, and they want to prove they are able to do that, because maybe it's not something usual they are doing that. So it's not like the teacher thinks I can do it, so you don't think I'm stupid. So there is this kind of psychological, I think, I'm not sure, this is not my perception, there is this psychological aspect of doing like that.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I was really surprised that it worked so well when I tried that. So yeah. So I want to go a bit further in this direction with the Debo project.
That's been observed with editing. People that learn to edit text, is starting with a blank piece of paper and writing something is very difficult. But
Yeah, absolutely.
taking a paragraph or a small essay and saying, make this better, you learn a lot. And that's much more engaging.
That's exactly the idea. I know Adele Goldberg used to say that as well.
Sorry, I missed
Adele Goldberg. Adele, yeah, Adele Goldberg.
Yeah, Adele Goldberg. Yeah.
She used to say that.
Yeah, Goldberg. Yeah, I recall that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I listened to Adele. I heard her speak.
Okay.
Yeah, one time. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this is completely off topic, but I would like to tell you a little bit why last week I asked this meeting to be suspended. Last Wednesday, a week ago exactly, the whole week was a computer science conference in Buenos Aires at my university with many different topics. And on Wednesday noon, Hernan Wilkinson did an online interview to Alan Kay. Okay, so I wanted to be there and listen to that. And the recording is already online, so I will.
Okay.
Where do I have the link? Hernan posted the link somewhere, and I think either me or him, someone should post that link to the mail list. And it was very interesting. It was very nice, and the conference was paid, so I had to pay to attend there. So I said, well, I'm paying for a conference. It's not super expensive, but it is some real money. So what else can I do here? And most of the conference was about AI or things I'm not that interested in. There was a history track on the history of computing in Argentina. So I attended 2 days, one talk after the other, all of them on the history of computing in Argentina. And it was fantastic. It was so much fun. So it was very, very nice. I will post 2 links to our chat. This one is from an interview someone did to Alan Kay a couple of weeks ago, and it's excellent. It's wonderful. The first 15 seconds are on AI specifically, and they are amazing. And this second link is the talk with Hernan last week at this conference at my university. So both links are there in the chat. I watched the first video. It's great. I took a lot of notes on it, and the other one while I was there, so it was very good too. So enjoy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the link.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know
Nice.
if there's something else to discuss.
No, we don't discuss the documentation.
Documentation, yeah,
Yeah. But
it's a tough it's a tough problem.
yeah, I want to just, the idea was just to finalize some documents. Yeah, but it's too late now. Maybe for another time.
Yeah, maybe next time. I always have this feeling and this desire to focus on that a bit and with the stuff you write and maybe help in some way. And I find it extremely difficult to find not only time but energy. I mean, but by the time I have a couple of 3 hours, I can no longer work or do
You
stuff that
need,
requires deep attention.
you need
But
to rest.
yeah, but we should do that too. Yes, that's right.
This was very small documents. I don't know. Maybe we can just check just one, if you agree. Uh, for example, this one. So you can see my screen.
Yes,
Yeah. So this one is mostly complete. Oh, you edited. I just want to check out if it missed something. Because right now it's on the workbench. See, it's not really public. So
okay.
I want to move it somewhere else. So the two part that were missing is this one.
Dash L and dash S.
Yeah, execute code and script. So the difference is that I don't know if we need more explanation about this or
Or
not.
just an example at least. Yes, I could. I mean, prepare an example for that shouldn't take me too long.
What is the difference? What's the idea? Why do you have load and evaluate? I mean, the user, he can wonder why is there two different? So one is
I,
just load but not executed, I guess, or not,
yeah,
okay,
I believe that L should load a change set, and S would like evaluate a workspace.
okay,
But
so okay,
but but that's what I can say right now. That is most likely. But if I take 15 minutes to review that and prepare an example or two, then I can give a much useful answer.
yeah, that would be great. Uh, I think this one we have example in the quiz book. I think
Okay.
I wrote an example, but it's a large one. Um, yeah, maybe I can write a little one just to, yeah, we can try to see to cook some things also. Okay, that's
Okay.
it.
I will try to take a look later at that.
Yeah, okay. So we are done.
I guess we are.
Bernard, we don't hear you.
Sorry?
Yeah,
No, Bernard, yeah, we don't hear you.
Oh yeah, you're muted, Bernard.
Still muted.
Bernard, unmute yourself, Bernard.
right. I click on the button.
Okay,
Now it
nice.
works.
It's fine.
Now it
Now
works. You can hear me. Okay, great. Yeah, just one question about the mail I wrote. I don't know if you have seen it. That
What?
was all what I wanted to ask. I wrote a mail regarding I have an error with file contents. It just hangs on some file, and it's really strange. I wrote the mail on
Yeah.
well some days ago, and I just wanted to know if you have seen it. Don't expect an answer now, but
Yes, I'm sorry. I saw your mail.
no,
I didn't answer it.
no, no, no,
Uh,
no, no. Don't
I'm
be
pretty
sorry.
sure I know the cause. It happened to me a couple of times. And the
Ah,
thing
okay.
is, the file list, it is trying to show anything as UTF-8 text, okay? And some JPEG files, for instance, or any kind of binary files that is invalid if interpreted as UTF-8 can produce that problem. So
Ah, okay.
yeah, I'm sorry. It is a bug. It happened
No,
to me a lot of time. I did answer your mail. I didn't fix it, even if I know it's there. So now that you say it, maybe I will do. And this is a general note, folks. You already know this. But if you raise some issue and no one helps in a couple of days, feel free to throw bigger stones until someone pays attention.
Not too
but
big, huh?
no problem. I don't wait on this anyway, so don't. I just I use just the as we are talking. I used the. But actually, what I don't understand is why binary content should work in any case. No.
Well, but UTF-8 is a way of encoding Unicode text, right? So not any sequence of byte is valid UTF-8.
Yes, but this is the file content selector. But there's also the binary content selector, which answers 0 in this case, which I don't understand because there is no UTF-8 interpretation going on.
I believe the file list is trying to interpret it as UTF-8 in any case, and that is
Yes,
the
I
problem.
know, but I wrote as I have a script in the workspace which uses binary contents, which doesn't use the same as the file list, and this answers 0, even though the file has
Oh, I'm. That's a completely different email. Someone, maybe it was you, maybe it wasn't you, talk about this problem of phrasing or a crash or something on JPEG files. What you are talking about is a completely unrelated thing, and it's about symbolic links or something like that, right?
yes, but it's a symbolic link file on macOS, but it's just a normal file. It's not something special.
Okay, that problem is true. I also saw that mail. I completely forgot about it, and I don't know.
Like
We'll
again,
look at the mail and see if I can understand
yeah,
something from it. Yeah, yeah,
again,
that one I don't know.
no, don't worry. I just asking because I talked to you. So
Well, now I have three things I should devote a little time on. Okay, hopefully today.
yeah, that will teach you attending our community meetings.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, but it's really nice talking to you, and yeah, I really like the meetings because from time to time, well, almost every time is a great discussion, but from time to time they're really great surprises. I like that.
yeah, I like our meetings. The only thing I would like is more people to attend.
Mm.
These meetings could have easily between 10 and 15 people, and most of the time it's just about four. And they are great, but there are people who are interested in quiz or do stuff with quiz, and they are missing them. That's yet another task for me. I will write an email to the mail list saying, "Come on, folks, attend the meetings.
Yeah,
You will have fun."
yeah. Maybe we can
Maybe
be
maybe ask why they don't attend and how
the time
what
frame.
would be needed to what could be changed so that they would attend more often.
Yeah.
One
Maybe
one
there's a
suggestion on the quiz.st on the main page, put a notice of like the next meeting or whatever,
Yeah.
so they can
Yeah.
click
It
on
could
and get
help.
to just see, just from the main page as they come in, and make it a little more obvious, rather than, oh, I have to go to community and, et cetera. Just
You can improve the
lower the
communication.
gradient, lower the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always something
I
more
think
to
the
do.
communication is a bit bumpy. Maybe not great from my part.
Well, un instante. Sorry, that was in Spanish, and my mic is on deck knocking my door. Okay, so I guess we are done here. So
Yeah.
thank you, Chris,
Yeah.
for
Okay,
joining.
thank you
That's
very
fine.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing up
It's a
and
lot
yeah,
of
never